everyone, it's Laura here from See Clear Counselling. So welcome to video 6 in my video series around negative automatic thoughts. If you haven't managed to catch up with my previous videos, then go to my Facebook page, Instagram page or YouTube channel, all under See Clear Counselling, or you can go to my website www.seeclearcounselling.co.uk and go to my blog page where you'll find all the previous videos. So today we're going to be looking at core beliefs, and as I explained last week, your negative automatic thoughts are fed from your core belief, and your core belief is almost determines how you go about your daily interactions. They can almost be defined as the essence of who you are. Core beliefs will tell you how you see yourself, how you see others, and how you see the world, and therefore what life means to you almost. And so different people can interpret interactions in different ways, and that can almost be attributed to the core beliefs that you have. And your core beliefs have almost been made up from the experiences that you've had from life. And so as experiences happen and they complement your core belief, it strengthens your core belief and so makes that core belief something that you believe in much more. And we have positive core beliefs and we have negative core beliefs. And it's these negative core beliefs that can lead to our negative automatic thoughts. And so over the past few weeks, we've been looking at negative automatic thoughts, raising our awareness around negative automatic thoughts and how they affect us. And what we need to understand is that our negative automatic thoughts up here have a two-way communication with our core beliefs. And there's almost a ladder that goes from our core beliefs up to our negative automatic thoughts. Now, clearly, if you've had this core belief for almost all of your life and you've been building on that core belief and strengthening that core belief to tell you how you should be interpreting yourself and others and what's happening around you, it's going to be very difficult to change that core belief if it's proving unhelpful to you. And that's why we've started with your negative automatic thoughts, because by raising our awareness of those negative automatic thoughts, we can look at changing those thoughts to a slightly more positive way of thinking. And if we continue to do that, then we get that kind of stepwise down towards our core belief, and we can start to change our core belief to be something that is more helpful to us, and actually start to look at the world in a slightly different way. So let's explain how that two-way communication works. So if we think of our core belief as something that has, as I say, been built up from the experiences that we've had in life. So it could be that your core belief is, I am a very likeable person. Now, from that core belief, we make assumptions about ourselves, about others, about the world. And those assumptions are usually based on a statement, if something, then it means something. So the statement if then is quite important to understand these assumptions. So if your core belief is I'm a likeable person, your assumption might be if I meet new people, then they are going to like me because I'm a likeable person. Those assumptions will lead to your rules of living. So if your assumption is, if I meet new people, then they're going to like me, then your rules for living will probably be, I will talk to new people. I'm quite happy to interact with new people. I'm not shy of new people. And so your rules of living are almost like your behaviours that you do. And of course that will lead to your thoughts. So for example, if you go to a party or something and you walk into the room If your belief is, if I meet new people, then they will like me, then you're likely to go up to other people and talk to them. So that's a real positive core belief that leads up to positive thoughts you have about yourself and other people around you. But what happens if your core belief is the opposite to that? What happens if your core belief is, I'm worthless? And why would you have that opposite core belief? Well, it could be experiences from your childhood and your life in general. So maybe the person who thinks I'm likeable has been told all through their life that they are a likeable person. So every time someone has told them that, then it's fed that core belief and strengthened that core belief so they really believe it. If, on the other hand, you've had people that have told you you're worthless all your life, then you're going to feed that core belief with I'm worthless, and you're going to strengthen the belief that I'm worthless is true. So if your core belief is I'm worthless, then the next step up is your assumption about yourself, the world, and others around you. And your assumption could be, if I meet new people, they're not going to be interested in me because I'm worthless. And so then your rules for living will be completely different. If someone who has the core belief of I'm worthless was to walk into a party of strange people, then they are unlikely to interact with other people in the room because their negative automatic thoughts are, no one's going to be interested in talking to me. Why would anyone want to talk to me? I have nothing interesting to say. And goes back to that core belief of I'm worthless. So their behaviour, their rules of living are probably going to be to avoid other people, maybe sit in the corner at the party and not talk to anyone. So you can see that this core belief that we have kind of goes up the steps of the ladder, our assumptions, the if and then statement, to our rules of living and how we're going to behave in certain situations, and then that will lead to the thoughts that we have. So as I say, over the past few weeks, I've been asking you to keep a diary on situations that happen in your life and for you to become aware of those negative automatic thoughts that are happening for you. Because by becoming aware of those negative automatic thoughts, and we've talked about moving them from that negative bias over to a more positive bias, what we're doing is starting to move our rules of living because we're going to change our behaviours by altering those thoughts. And if we change that behaviour, we're going to take one step down, and are we going to believe the assumptions that we are making, the if and then statement? And then if we take another step down, does that mean that our core belief is really true? So as you can see, that two-way communication between your core belief and your negative automatic thoughts is constantly happening, going up and down that ladder. And that influences how you react to various different situations because of the thoughts that you have in those situations, which lead to those behaviours and those feelings. So what we need to do is, by working on what we've been doing over the last few weeks and changing those negative automatic thoughts, we can start to step down the ladder and hopefully change that core belief that you have. So if your core belief is I'm worthless, by changing the negative automatic thoughts to different thoughts that actually people will be interested in talking to you. So when you go into that party and there's those strange people there, that actually you change your thought around to a more positive way and saying, well, actually today I'm going to go and talk to people. Someone might find me interesting. I might find someone who has something in common with me, and then they'll be interested in talking to me. By changing that negative automatic thought, as you can see, you've changed your behaviour, your rules for living have changed slightly, and you're going to go into that room and hopefully try and interact with some people. If that works for you, then you're going to change your assumption. The assumption that if you talk to people, they're not going to be interested in you because you're worthless. You'll start to change that assumption that you can talk to people because there is a chance that they will find you interesting or you will find them interesting. And we start to build new evidence that goes against that core belief that we've been carrying around with us all the time. But of course, because that core belief is so strongly held within us, and because we've been gathering evidence all our life that actually tells us that core belief is true, it's going to be very, very difficult to change it. And so that's why I've asked you to work on your negative automatic thoughts and start to change those, so that we can go down the ladder and start to change the core belief, rather than having to change essentially everything that you feel about yourself and move up the ladder, because that's going to be much more difficult. So over the next week or so, what I'd like you to do is look at that diary that you've been keeping and those situations that you've been recording and what your negative automatic thoughts are, and look at how your negative automatic thoughts have led to changing your behaviours and your feelings. Because then you can start to change those assumptions, the if and then statement. So if you look at those situations, then look at what your if and then statement was, and see how if you start to change those negative thoughts and behaviours, you start to change that if and then that will lead to you starting to change your core belief. So carry on doing that, and we'll check in again next week and see how you're getting on. And hopefully together we'll live a more mentally healthy life.